lava monster is coming to the game very soon during Chapter 5 Season 3 live event. Because if you don't remember, the arm is still here on the map. This arm belongs to a lava monster put here by Zeus, obviously to protect the Pandora's box. We all know what happened. The box was open and all of the creatures now are boss on this island and they all have their own base. But who is this mysterious lava monster? To understand this, let's go all the way back in Chapter 1. I'm giving away a skin weekly to a subscriber, so please subscribe. And if you want to help me out, use code SMJM and like this video. Ice King is preparing for a war. Breaks out of his ice orb, projects a giant spirit of himself. The reason why he wants to do this is to bring eternal winters to Fortnite. He freezes everything, different locations, buildings, trees. Why is Ice King doing this? Is to stop this man, one of the most powerful beings in the history of Fortnite, the Fire King. Going back over 100 years ago, Ice King and Fire King used to be friends. They were both bounty hunters, moving from one reality to another. They used to capture evil people and evil creatures, sometimes even weapons, anything that could bring harm to society. Slowly, the Ice King starts to notice the Fire King, the way he thinks change. The Ice King knows that having all of these monsters and weapons gives you a lot of power. And also he knows that power can change a person because they feel no one can defeat them and they start taking control. When Ice King met the Fire King, he thought he wasn't like that, but he was wrong. The more weapon and creatures they capture, the Ice King could see greed inside of the Fire King's eyes growing as well. The Ice King's suspicion turns into reality when the Fire King asks the Ice King to use powers that they possess, the ice power and the fire power, and use these creatures and weapons that they have collected. They could rule the entire Fortnite. But the Ice King refuses, tells the Fire King to remove all of these evil thoughts. And if he doesn't, he will let him go. Out of anger and greed, the Fire King attacks the Ice King. And after a long and hard fight, the Ice King defeats the Fire King. He decides to bring all of these creatures, including the Fire King, to Reality Zero, a reality where our Fortnite island is located. Ice King believes this is the safest place to put these creatures since it is being protected by the 0 point, and also the Seven's headquarters is on the ice moon as well. But unfortunately, what he did not take into account was the weather. A huge cosmic storm causes a huge part of the ice moon to break. This happens to be the part the Polar Peak is located, and obviously we know Polar Peak is the Ice King's castle. That means the Fire King is here as well, and also a monster the Ice King captured is kept frozen underneath Polar Peak. In Season 7, we saw their arrival. During a mid-season update, we find out the Fire King escaped. Looks like someone snuck in and helped the Fire King escape. Before escaping, the Fire King took a bunch of these eggs that were hidden inside the dungeon of Polar Peaks because he wanted to raise an army and defeat the Ice King, not only taking revenge, but also taking control of all of those creatures on the ice moon. As soon as the Ice King finds out the Fire King escaped, he decides to bring an eternal winter on the Fortnite island because he knows that the Fire King's biggest weakness is ice. And since the Fortnite island is quite limited and small, if he freezes everything, the Fire King will grow weak, making it easier for the Ice King to locate him and defeat him. But the Fire King, being smart and strong, is not going to go down without a fight. During the end of Season 7, we notice notice trees at Wailing Woods slowly turning brown. Also, the ground is heating up as well. When season 8 was here, we find out the Fire King summoned a massive volcano and a huge tropical jungle. He also hatched those eggs that he stole, and he breeded these ninja lizards called hybrids. Also created a mixer between humans and bananas, and he used them as slaves. I think this is how Peely was originated. After seeing how powerful the Fire King has become, the Ice King runs away and disappears. But the Fire King's biggest threat came from the seas. Pirates arrived on the island, started to loot everything. The Fire King's first attack happens during the volcano event. He used the volcano as a weapon, erupted, destroying a bunch of locations. Main objective is to destroy everyone on the island, including the 0 point, and he can free all of those monsters on the ice moon and control them. So he decides to erupt the volcano on Polar Peak, releasing the Cactus monster. Monster disappears after a while, meaning he has escaped. And in season 9, people notice the monster in the ocean around the island. Towards the end of season 9, the Cactus monster attacks the island. Its first mission is to destroy the 0 point, because if he does that, he can take control of the entire island. But as soon as Cactus monster escaped Polar Peak, the Imagine Order stepped in. They build a huge robot with the help of Singularity, and a huge battle begins between Cactus and the robot. Obviously, we know the robot defeated the Cactus monster with the help of the 0 point, and we think after failing, the Fire King is captured yet again by the Ice King. This time, rather than imprisoning him, he takes him to the gods. Because the Ice King hear about the Pandora's box and how Zeus is planning to capture all of the evils and putting them in this box. The Ice King thinks keeping these creatures on this ice moon is not safe enough. So he decides to move all of these creatures and bring them to Zeus. He will trap them inside of the Pandora's box. Since Fire King is as evil and dangerous as these creatures, the Ice King brings him to Zeus, but Zeus has other plans for the Fire King. Instead of trapping him inside of the box, I think Zeus made the Fire King the protector of the box. Almost like a slave, he is forever bound to protect the box. Because if you look at the arm of this monster and if you look at the prisoner's arm, you can see the resemblance. Obviously, we know what happened to the box. Hilaria exposed it. Us, despite everyone telling us not to do it, we opened the Pandora's box. Because of our actions, Zeus is extremely angry. He showed up on the island, destroyed the society, set up a massive base, also brought a bunch of immortals as well, like Aphrodite, his daughter. The first thing he says when he arrived is that he is going to destroy every single mortal living on this island. And since then, he has been planning this huge event that is going to take place. We thought Midas was going to help us since he was here, but he knows that Zeus is extremely strong and his power is no compare. So him and his friends has disappeared as well. I think we are going to get a huge live event at the end of the season, and Zeus is going to bring this creature, this lava monster who used to be the prisoner, back to life, and he is going to attack the island and destroy everyone. Why else is this arm still on this island? I think Fortnite is building up the storyline for this huge live event, but right now I think this is just Zeus's plan. I think we are starting to see the immortals, since they're now starting to build their trust and friendship with us. They are trying their best to stop Zeus from this happening. So we already know that Aphrodite, Zeus's daughter, has tried to convince Zeus not to attack, but Zeus, being Zeus, he does not listen to anyone. So it looks like Aphrodite is going to be on our side. She's trying to convince other immortals as well, but that is not going going to be enough. I think even though Midas has disappeared, there is still a chance that he has gone somewhere to maybe get some help. We will find out in just a few weeks if there's going to be this huge alive event taking off to Chapter 5 Season 3.